Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for being with us, Jill.
Of course.
Is Jill Peterson.
Hello.
And Gloria. We all know
Gloria Kessel with B&I. You guys know who I am.
Yep.
And Alex Mathis, your commercial real estate broker.
Awesome. Alex, what do you do?
Besides play,
Besides go hiking and walk your dog, what do you
and
do?
vacations. Well, my favorite thing in commercial real estate is working with investors.
I meant to turn her.
Excuse
We
me.
should-
That's okay though. You know how it goes when we have phones. She's got to
Real
answer the
estate.
call. It's a seller. Sorry.
Alex, so what do you do besides hike and walk your dog?
So I like to work with investors. It's
Okay.
my favorite thing to do, but I do work with a lot of sellers, people that are leasing. Right now I have a huge group of people that need industrial space.
Okay.
There's huge demand for industrial space.
Wow.
Unlike what the economy says right now,
Understand,
that
even with, like,
everything's
COVID?
dying.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Wow.
You want to know something? There's tons of manufacturing companies that are growing and they need more space. So
Interesting.
right now, that has drawn all my attention.
Okay.
It's just pulling me. I probably have 40 business owners
Wow.
that are looking for space in the San Gabriel Valley.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
Because, you know, the Ontario airport now used to be leased to LAX.
Yep.
And then LAX mismanaged it and Ontario sued them and they got the airport back.
Yep.
And now they have huge contracts with a bunch of large carriers and it's cargo. So because of that, there's a ton of business moving to the Inland Empire. So those of you who need to buy real estate to invest, the Inland Empire is the place to be.
Awesome.
And that's great because there's just so much noise behind us. There's
I
so much
know.
noise that
I know.
folks are listening to that and they think that our market is doom and gloom.
Yep.
Oh my God, real estate,
Yeah.
you know,
No.
I can't buy a
That's
house right
been
now
so
or I can't
interesting.
list and sell my house. That is
Yeah.
not true, correct,
No.
ladies?
No, not at
That's
all.
not what you're saying.
No.
Everywhere we look,
Yeah.
right? In every sector,
Yeah.
we're busy.
That's really interesting too, because I would have thought with COVID, more people working from home or hybrid, commercial would have maybe shrunk.
You know,
But it's the
because
opposite.
I think with all the different
There's a lot of big
countries,
opportunities now.
a lot of countries that had difficulty shipping stuff into the U.S., a lot of manufacturers have now said, we're not sending our stuff to China or
Yep.
India.
Yep.
They're either keeping it in-house, and even if it costs more, it costs them a lot to lose business because of manufacturing issues.
Yep.
And you guys, that's really important speaking about commercial because she's right. It sort of shifted on us, huh? Didn't our business kind of take a shift?
Everything. We
Now,
had to
like
be
you said,
quick
oh
with
my God,
changing.
commercial, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But it is. It's the
Yeah.
truth.
Huge
You're
demand.
talking to the source, right from the source.
And Jill happens to be an SFR agent. So
Yep.
she
What's
has
an SFR?
single family resident real estate agent.
Yep. Gloria, what do you do? What is your specialty?
I can make or break a deal. That's what I
She
can
mostly
do.
breaks the deals. She mostly breaks.
No,
all
what
No,
I
you
do-
saved a lot of mine.
No, what
Yeah,
I try
it's
to
a favor,
do.
a
what I-
godsend.
Right. Title insurance is funny. Title insurance insures the homeowner from the very beginning that they purchase the property, and it cleans it all up. We go through every single recorded document, make sure that the new buyer doesn't have to deal with this at all.
Good.
We insure it, meaning we take full 100% responsibility. And there's a really handy dandy book, it's called the Buyers and Sellers Book, that actually tells you what the Alta policy covers and what the CLTA policy covers. But most
And
of the
those
coverages,
abbreviations are
like, okay, so you guys, let's say you show up to a property and they say, oh yeah, it's permitted.
got it.
You sell the property, you do not do the research, the property comes back not permitted. Do you know
Got
what the Alta policy covers? You, the realtor from that.
Oh,
It
And what about
covers,
the client?
well, yeah. Yeah, it's all part
so
of the
both
same.
the
exactly.
client and the homeowner are protected.
Correct.
So that's the importance of title insurance.
Correct.
Something that they said was permitted, even like the room.
Fraud.
Okay, fraud.
We make sure that there are no fraudulent documents recorded on the new buyer's chain of title. A chain
Got
of
it.
title means it's just a list of different recordings that they have done throughout the life of that property.
Yeah.
So I can actually go back. Like this morning, we got a phone call from Joe Croft from B&I. He wanted to find out, he wanted to go back on the deeds and find out what percentages were distributed. So I sent him the property profile from documents from the very beginning that they purchased to now.
Got it.
So he's able to do whatever the CPA has to do. He's able to take that information and work with it. So we're really information base for the agents.
I feel like to like simplify it, it's like say I bought a house from Alex and I didn't have title insurance. Alex could potentially come back to me and say, no, I still own this house. But with you, we don't even think about it.
You know, when I was in my 20s, I got offered this house in Diamond Bar, a really good deal, like $95,000. Back then was a lot of money. But they told me, you don't need title insurance. And something told me, don't. If they made a point of telling me, buy it with that title insurance, you'll save, $500 or whatever it was then. And we said, no, we'll wait. And they kept on pushing by with that title. Don't worry, the owner is a judge. The owner is a judge. To buy it with that title, I'm like, you think if there's a problem, the judge, who's going to win? So fortunately we didn't buy it, but sometimes, title insurance is one of those hidden things that nobody thinks about.
Until they need it.
But it's the ultimate protection at the end of the game. So I got a call yesterday, trip on this, BNI. 95-year-old gentleman married a 24-year-old girl.
Nice.
Yes. The 24-year-old calls me yesterday and wants to sell the property and has a deed from her husband. The husband has been taken by his children because he's not of sound mind. And now she's going after the property as community property.
Wow.
So, look, BNI, I know you're not, if you're not in real estate, do not add a girlfriend or friend or anybody until the ring is on it. Because until the ring is on it,
even when the ring is there.
With investment properties, you can't commingle. Even though
I have a client that lost all of it. He married, his wife passed away. This Asian lady showed up at the funeral and said that she was friends with the wife and befriended the husband, the widow, and they ended up getting married. And then he was older, had a stroke, and then she had him sign about power of attorney on everything, kicked the kids out of their homes. He had a couple of gas stations.
Wow.
So it is very important.
That's a reality in our world.
Yeah.
That's a definite reality.
This is why, like people trying to do for sale by owners, maybe it's trying to save you money, but you're losing money in the long run. So you always seek advice of professionals.
Because remember, you guys, anytime you put somebody on your grant deed, whatever they have, so they might have a child support lien, they might have a lien from a creditor, they might have a whatever it may be. Guess what? The moment it records, all that debt that person carries is now on your property. So I hear this all the time. Oh my God, I thought we were going to get married. We bought this property and now he's done this and that and da. Do not put anybody on your deed unless you got it in a trust where it knows it's secured. 50% goes to each one. So not smart. One more percentage to the other
Living
one.
trust, Vic.
Living trust.
That's why we need Vic.
You spoke on something that I'm not sure everyone knows. What is a grant deed?
A grant deed is your actual ownership deed.
Document.
It's like the registration of your car. It is registered to you.
It's a pink slip to the house.
It's like the pink slip to your house. That's right. That's the basics.
And every property, every commercial, every real estate piece of asset has its own deed, its own pink slip.
Correct. And now the laws have changed also. Now we have Prop 19. Used to be that we can alter our deeds, right? We can actually add mom, add sister, add cousin, add everybody onto title, onto our grant deed, our ownership deed. Now we can't do that without speaking to your CPA, calling your tax assessor's office, Joe Croft.
Shout out.
Make sure that property will not be reassessed because Prop 19, the moment you alter that deed, it's going to be reassessed to today's property.
Does it also happen if we put it into a living trust?
No, the living trust, it will not reassess because guess what? You're the owner of the trust and you're the same owner of the property.
Perfect.
It's when you change ownership.
Well, and I think most people probably didn't know you can take title different ways. Where you can take it 50-50 instead of just being joint tenants.
And those of you that want some more education, we've got this handy dandy buyer sellers books that I'm going to make sure at our next meeting, we're going to make sure that all of you get this so that you know what the real estate team does for BNI.
And a lot of this is residential, but most of the rules are the same for commercial. When we're doing something, when it comes to legality, disclosures, a lot of them are the same.
Yeah.
Are the same.
Good.
Yeah, they're treated the same. Just FYI, we also have in Spanish.
Good.
So that when working with our Hispanic community, that they get the same information that anybody else would. And that's where I think as a Hispanic community like Alex and some of our other Hispanic agents or whatever,
The buyers.
we need to bring them knowledge.
Yeah.
Because
Did we
knowledge
time
is
ourselves?
value.
I'm watching it. Yeah.
Oh,
I see
Is
it.
value.
Um,
This is so fun.
I know, cool.
Are we
It's
watching
easy. Yeah, I'm watching it. Okay, so you specified that you mostly are in commercial.
Yes.
What got you into commercial rather than residential real estate?
Well, I started in the residential
Okay.
market, but
For how long?
I was in it for about 5 years.
Wow. Okay.
But ever from the beginning, I started working with investors that were doing duplexes and triplexes. And as a matter of fact, Gloria was in the business, and she told me, "Do you know about absentee owners, which mostly own
Investment
units,
property.
investment property?" And I started working with them. And then every time I had to deal with a mom and pop, here it comes. I
There's Alex.
hated it. I hated it. I hated it
Yeah.
because everybody has their own opinion of what they want, and then I would go out and show them a house, and they're like, "Oh well, the fireplace is here, so why isn't it here?" I'm like, "What the hell do I care?
Yeah.
Where, the house? You told me you wanted a fireplace. There is a fireplace, but now it has to be a." So
It's too
no.
emotional.
Way
It
too
is
emotional.
emotional.
So
Lots
I
of drama.
decided.
Yeah.
So I decided residential was too emotional. Razi is our residential agent in our group.
Yeah.
So Razi, I give you.
And she's a touchy, she's an
She's
emotional
a-
person. She's a very
She's a
huggy
very
kind
nice
of
person.
We're therapists half the
She's
time.
a
Yeah.
she's a very nice person.
Yeah.
Me
So what do
and
you say about yourself?
numbers.
She just told you.
Yeah, I
She
know.
ain't doing that.
She said, not for me.
Not that. So that's why I went into commercial,
Got
and
it.
I'm really good at numbers.
Okay.
I understand them. I feel the numbers when
Yep.
it comes to real estate and to investments.
Good.
I have a background in investing. I worked for Prudential Financial Services for 16 years
Wow.
doing investments.
Okay.
I was the #1 mutual fund seller at
Wow.
Prudential for 10 years.
Oh
So
my
you can
goodness.
actually
So
walk them
I
through
can
that.
walk them
investment.
through the investments.
That's awesome.
So that has been, that's one thing that made me understand
Yeah.
commercial, because
Yeah.
you got to understand the numbers in commercial.
Yeah.
You can't just go out and say, okay, this is good, because it's not flat. Buying commercial real estate is not like buying a house.
That's right.
You got to understand the investment.
Yep. Well, and I think your background, that's probably rare for a commercial agent too, to have such a strong background.
I believe that too. Because I
Yeah.
work with a lot of commercial agents.
Yeah.
They don't bring the two together.
Yeah.
You know, you
which
gotta,
is huge.
and when
Which is
you're
the financial
advising,
part.
yeah, when
Yeah.
you're advising people to buy a piece of property, you gotta understand the risk tolerance of the individual. I've seen people lose everything because their realtor advised them.
Yeah.
You know, I know somebody very close to me.
Yeah.
A $20 million estate is dwindled to $2 million because the agent did not consider
Wow.
the risk tolerance.
Yeah.
So when the wave, the tide changed,
Yeah.
they lost everything.
Yeah.
And so you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
You gotta. That's why it's not so simple.
Yep.
Does it fit your business? Does it fit your investment? Does it fit your profile?
Yeah.
Do you have enough money to survive the downturns?
Yeah.
And BNI, that's where the knowledge comes in. That's
Yeah.
exactly why we sit every Thursday to take in what it is that all of you do. But when I'm listening to Alex right here, if I was somebody looking for commercial from now on, you guys, because I didn't know this, I'm going to ask. So what's your financial background?
Yeah.
Alex brings that.
Yeah.
Alex can actually talk to me from both sides.
Yeah.
As an investor and also the risks, like you said.
Yeah. We were talking about
good.
this before too, of like how important it is to stick to your specialty
Yes.
and not try to cross those lines, because like if I were to try to sell a commercial building, I wouldn't know what the heck to do.
Right.
But a lot of agents will try. So I think having that specialty specifically in commercial is huge. And
You know-
don't try to go to your freaking buddy who
And-
sells a house every day.
And part of our
It's different.
ethics says in our ethics through the
CBAR?
CBAR,
Yeah.
the Board of Realtors, says that you have to stick to your level of expertise.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
a lot of agents don't. And
Yeah.
I've taught a lot of classes in which people have taken what I've taught them, and the idea is, okay, come to me and ask me.
Yeah.
At least
Right,
ask.
right.
Yeah.
And
They try
but
to
they
do
go
it
on their own, And
But
some
you
people
probably
have
get the
gotten
call
hurt.
though.
I
Once
get the
they're
call
messed up.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, can you go meet them? And
Yeah.
I didn't even know on one of them, and I went and I met the person. I'm like, who sold you this?
Yeah.
And they told me, and I'm like, oh,
No.
it's the same person. That
But
was
this is why, like, we have, although we're like specific in what we do, we have our specialty, we have our team.
Yes.
You know, so it's like you do
We
the
can
commercial
rely on
side,
each other.
you
We
do
do
the
title.
title side. We have an escrow officer, we have a transaction coordinator, so that things flow seamlessly, and we let people who are
The experts at it.
experts in their field do what,
they do best.
Yeah.
So many times I'm getting calls from realtors going, Gloria, take off that child support lien. I wish I could, you guys, but it's not my child.
Wouldn't that be nice? You just do it.
It's not that
Can
easy.
you pay off all
when-
our cars?
Exactly. Those are the calls that I get because guess what? The sellers are pushing them. If the agent doesn't even have a little bit of background on how to clear items like that, they're gonna call me and ask me.
Yeah.
Gloria, get rid of the child support lien. Then I'll have to tell Alex.
Yeah.
No way.
Unless there's a blood test, honey, that baby ain't mine because I haven't had more than 2.
So how did you get into commercial then?
Oh my God, that's a funny story. I was working in Fontana. I was
Okay.
managing a roofing manufacturing company.
Okay. I didn't even know this.
Yeah.
Huh.
In Fontana, the owner was in Texas. So he
Okay.
hired me. I used to work at Knutson Corporation, the cottage cheese sour
Okay.
cream.
Oh no way.
So he recruited me from there and said, I have a, actually we went to lunch and he says, I have a company in Fontana that I need to shut down.
Okay.
So we had a 3-year shutdown.
Wow.
Slow it down until
Wow.
shutdown.
Okay.
24 men and me.
Hey.
I didn't know how to run. I came in all cute. They all looked at me. They all walked out the next day. They said I was too prissy for them, which I was. So what I did is I went to these surplus places. I bought me some construction boots, some jeans. I brought had my hoodie on, and I told my manager, one guy, I said, okay, you're my manager, put an ad. We're gonna hire tomorrow.
Wow.
The next day, I was dressed, right? Everything was
Ready for the job.
ironed and everything, but
Yeah.
I was dressed.
Yeah.
We had probably 80 applicants. So I rehired the whole group. After I rehired, I called the owner. I said, you're not gonna believe what happened. But don't worry about it, we took care of it. We're running on time.
I handled it.
So then I got a call and said, hey, Orange Coast Title is opening up an office in Whittier. And I said, I've never done title. And they go, try it, you'll like it, you're a salesperson. So I went in and interviewed, and I sat with the owner's cousin, which is the top hunch. I'm not gonna say his name, but I interviewed with him and he wasn't gonna hire me. And I said, I have no problem with not working with your company, but guess what? I'm now going to be your competitor because something that you said triggered me into looking into title. He goes, whoa, sit down. Sit down. So at that moment I was hired, and then I ended up hiring my sister as my customer service rep. And then I went out into the field. I knocked on my first real estate office in Walnut.
Wow.
One guy was sitting there. I said, hey, I have a question to ask you. I said, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a new title rep. What do I ask you? And he was my trainer. He actually would train me. He's the one that says, get rid of that car. That car says nothing about your success. I says, it's clean. There's no dents in it or nothing. He goes, no, get rid of it. That's when I ended up buying my BMW.
Nice.
Rode up. I said, okay, is this going to make it? He goes,
I'm
yeah.
ready for the job.
This is going to make it. So from that point forward, I just took a love of helping people, deciphering how we can make this happen, getting in my car, running to Alex's client, picking up whatever Alex needs. That's just what I do.
Wow. This is also cool, which I don't know if they all know about you guys, but so how long have you been in commercial real estate? Or real estate
Real
total?
estate total, 25 years.
Okay, and you?
32.
And you guys have been consistently with the same company for a very long time.
You know what?
All along.
Because
that
you
speaks
change companies, Jill,
volumes. I know.
because you change companies does not up your production.
No.
It's
No.
us individually. It's
But
how much we live.
I love, especially, I know in every career people switch a lot, but in the real estate industry, it seems like people jump around
Yes.
a ton. So consistency is huge. Who you've built your team with, like, you guys have each other's back. You guys have known each other for 20 plus years.
Yeah, we're gonna
you
cover
know?
Since I started.
So we're gonna.
So
yeah,
it's
me too.
huge.
Yeah.
Well, it is time to be done, but do you guys have any final words?
No, BNI. I'm happy to be with the BNI group. I love it. We just wanted to change things up because that Zoom kind of gets